Martin O'Malley in Maryland signaled on Monday, his office signaled on Monday that he's going to go ahead and sign legislation that decriminalizes marijuana possession in Maryland, which is a great idea. And the big thing is Steny Hoyer, who's from Maryland, also isn't he the Democratic whip?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, he also, he decided to come out for it too. But the weird thing, see, he was against it all, and he said Steny Hoyer said the reason why he used to be against it was because he talked to a lot of people who help deal with drug addicts, and they said that pot is a gateway drug. Now, I don't know. I know Dr. Drew likes to say that pot is a gateway drug. So he may be the only guy I know who deals with that stuff. So it might be that's the problem. The people who are working with drug addicts are full of shit, right? That might be the problem. Mm-hmm. So Steny Hoyer, that's what, because he said it. I talked to people, and they said it's a gateway drug, and therefore we don't think it's useful. Well, he switched his position on that, and he says it's because he got educated. I think it's because, he realized he could put his finger in the air and he can see which way the wind was blowing, and the wind is blowing that way. Same thing with gay marriage.
He's blowing pot smoke in his face.
It's blowing pot smoke in his face. That's right, and he got the munchies. And as a young prosecutor, I once thought that decriminalizing the possession of marijuana might undermine the public will necessary to combat drug violence and improve public safety. O'Malley said in a statement, "I now think that decriminalizing possession of marijuana is an acknowledgement of the low priority that our courts, our prosecutors, our police, and the vast majority of citizens already attach to this transgression in public order and health." Okay, so if there's one more, such an acknowledgement in law might even lead to a greater focus on far more serious threats to public safety and the lives of our citizens. And that's the thing that people forget. That, okay, so as long as marijuana is still criminal, cops have to spend an inordinate amount of times tracking down crimes that have zero impact on our society. So we're spending money, again, frivolously on law enforcement that doesn't help us. It just makes us a bigger police state. That's all that's happening. And people forget that all the time and money in the courts, in the prisons, and we can't give this woman health care, but we can send her to prison $35,000 a year if she would have had a joint in her pocket, right? So it's a backwards again, but this is a good sign. And Steny Hoyer, good for him. He finally came around and he figured out that he's an old man.
Well, what I really liked about that was in this quote, he says, it says legislature passed it, and then he says something to the effect of, from a criminal conviction who have done things like that, I'm not going to ask for a show of hands. If I did, I could raise my hand.
Yes.
So seems to imply
yes.
He might have done a little pot smoking himself. He then explains later on, he actually says he hasn't done it.
So he says the legislature passed it, and it's clear that we have an awful lot of people in our prisons who are suffering from a criminal conviction who have done things that I'm not going to ask for a show of hands. If I did, I could raise my hand. So then people were like, what are you saying, Steny? Are you saying that you smoked pot? Are you admitting?
I'm not gonna ask for a show of hands, but anyone here ever smoked pot before?
Well, no, he doesn't.
I actually legitimately have not.
Me neither.
That's hilarious.
He doesn't say smoke pot. He just says criminal conviction. Maybe he's got some other felonies in his background. Maybe he used to, roll people at ATMs for money.
So watch how crazy this is.
Or he could have been a bootlegger. He's kind of old.
Maybe. Oh yeah, maybe he worked with the Kennedys. So
Jackie and I are the only two people I know who've never done pot.
Never.
You've never smoked pot?
I've never smoked pot.
Jimmy and I have smoked plenty for all of us. Don't worry.
Jimmy's like, Jackie, come on, I'll show you how it's done.
2014, assholes, come on.
No, the funny thing is, okay, on the night of the TYT documentary, I ran into Jimmy and his wife in the parking lot. And somehow the topic of smoking came up, and those two were flabbergasted and just incredulous that I had never smoked pot before. But I tried once. I don't know how to smoke. So I just
with Bill Clinton when you did it?
Yeah, I was like coughing like a total spaz, and I just like, fuck it. I didn't smoke it. I don't know how to do it.
To everybody the first time, but we worked through it for crying out loud. Come on, where's your stick-to-itiveness? You're a lazy American.
I'm a lazy pothead. That's what it is. I'm too lazy to even get high.
You're a taker, and you should try to be a toker.
Yeah, there you go.
So I've never been high on pot before.
Okay, we're going to change that this year.
I haven't even had a pot brownie.
Nothing.
So May 1st. We're going to change that May 1st.
No, 420.
Oh, maybe,
change it on 420.
Maybe April 20th, yeah.
That's when it should be.
Or at the Troubadour. Porter was like, what? Oh, can you clarify? Because it sounded like he was saying I smoke pot and I could raise my hand. And what he said was it was subtle, the use thereof or the trying thereof, inhaling or not, experimentation, which clears up nothing.
Yes, it does.
It sounds crazy. It sounds even more like
He's obviously stoned.
yeah.
The reporter should have been like, "Are you high right now?"
I'm sorry. Are you Stony Hoyer?
Oh!